Yo, yo, yo! What's going on? All the great people and all of the great land. It's your guy, Nicholas Wilcox, in the chat. It's your guy, Johnny Main, in the chat. And special guest appearance, none other than our guy, Jamie Rochelle. Jamie, just balling with Jay, in the chat with us. He's here for week 7 of the Fantasy Football Show. We're talking DFS, props, bets, your start sits. You already know what the deal is. Jamie, say what's up to the great people in all of the great land.
What up, guys? I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Our pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you repping.
Yep. I'm Jamie with Just Balling with Jay. I'm an artist and fantasy connoisseur. I like combining, I do football art of all of your favorite fantasy football players, and I combine it. I share my process and I combine it with talk about fantasy football. So check me out on YouTube and Instagram. Just Balling with Jay. Ballin, B-A-L-L-N. Everybody spells it wrong.
Because everyone wants to put the I in it.
I shouldn't have done that.
And just so you know too, Jamie, right here at my desk, boom, been hanging on to it, baby, because I'm coming through.
Nice.
I'm coming through. The kids don't know yet, but my youngest daughter kind of likes to dabble like in a little football stuff and be on the same accord with dad. So gonna get her some drawings hooked up, man. So we'll be in contact for sure, man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
By the way, breaking news.
Direct.
By the way, breaking news. Rams up 21-0 right now against the Jags. Devontae Adams, double dong, touchdowns, 4 catches, 34 yards. Like,
where was that at last week? Where was that at last week is all I got to say. And that's not breaking news that the Rams are up 21-0. That's almost to be expected, man. Yeah. I tried to give it a shot this morning. You know what I mean? I watched like the first couple plays and I was like, yeah, this game's about to be a wrap here pretty quick. So
it was almost 14-7 a second ago. They got an interception touchdown that got taken back for some reason.
Well then, but that being said, the Fantasy Football Show, we out here getting ready to get to it. The first game on the docket we got for you, the Saints going into Chicago. Saints getting 3.5 points going into Chicago. The over-under is 46.5, 1 p.m. Eastern time start. Johnny, what's your take on your boy Caleb Williams in this matchup? What do you like about this game?
Everything. I like everything about this game. I think it's a nice bounce back spot for Roma Dunze this week. Like, obviously on Monday Night Football, didn't give us the Roma Dunze performance. I think we'll see that today for sure on his side. I think Caleb Williams, this is a really good spot for him. Obviously, it's a big pace-up spot. You know, we've talked about it all season long. This is one of the teams that, whoever they're playing against, we like to kind of tail them in the DFS world because a lot of times it gives us opportunities for players that might not be in pace-up spots for their offense naturally. So I like this spot for him. I like this spot for Swift, Odunze. I like Alvin Kamara a lot today too, man. I think today I could definitely see today's a world where Alvin Kamara could definitely bounce back. The Bears defense hasn't necessarily set the world on fire. And Alvin Kamara has been off to a really slow start. And we're at that point in time of the year where like he hasn't had a breakout game. I think his best game was early on in the year. It might have been against the Rams, if I'm not mistaken, back in week 1. So I think this is a really good spot. If you're looking for pay down options, obviously Spencer Rattler is always in play, man. Only quarterback in the NFL with 200 pass attempts to have 1 or fewer interceptions. So he's still protecting the ball for sure in that space. So yeah, like I like everything about this game. I'm playing a lot on FanDuel today because last 2 weeks have been kind of rough for me on DraftKings. So I was like, all right, like let me switch it up a little bit and go over to FanDuel and play over there in that space. So I know you can't play FanDuel in Connecticut, man. So I'm sorry, bro. That's
good.
Yeah. But no, like highest on play.
My bets on FanDuel as well. So
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's where the money's printed. Olave is the highest owned guy on FanDuel at 21%, followed by Dunze at 14% almost here. So definitely like this spot here. I think this game is being slept on as well. A game that could possibly shoot out.
Yeah. Jamie, what you got for us?
I was just distracted by Trevor Lawrence just completely missing a running back in the flat. How do you do that, man? I mean,
no.
He missed him by like 2 yards. Like just like a leak out to the flat. Wow.
Oh man.
That's rough.
Yeah, no, actually, Saints Bears, man. This could be a competitive game, bro. I know people don't like the Saints right now, but Rattler's kind of like doing his thing quietly over there. I know nobody wants to admit that, but he's just distributing the ball and it's working. It's working with Kellen Moore. I certainly don't have any faith. Well, not any faith, but too much faith in Kamara right now. It's just with the split with Kendre Miller. I don't know. It's just like he's not getting enough of the work. And I'm not going to say he slowed down, but maybe he slowed down a little bit this year. I don't know. I'm not saying that. It's Kamara. He could go off. I wouldn't feel comfortable playing Kamara. But sometimes you might not have a better option. But I am very excited about Rome. Like Rome Odunze, like last week, he did have a good game. They took his touchdown away on a ticky-tack call.
Yes, sir.
So if he gets that touchdown, maybe he does make your fantasy day. But Caleb Williams, the arrow's pointing up. So I'm looking for everybody over there. I wasn't hoping that DJ Moore was hurt, but I was excited to see if DJ Moore was out, if Luther Burden could become.
Yes, sir.
But I don't think that could happen until something happens there with DJ Moore. So DJ Moore, Ramadunze, Caleb Williams, like you said, Swift looked great last week. That he had some huge, gigantic holes. I don't know if that's going to be the case this week. I don't know that I trust DeAndre Swift, but it looked great last week. So yeah, I probably fire up my Bears, and I probably fire up Olave. I mean, I guess Rattler and desperation moves.
Yeah, I mean, look, from this point of view of this game is that we're expecting to, like John said, pace up spot for this game. Both teams are in top 7 when it comes to fantasy points per game allowed to quarterbacks. The fast pace should dictate the over on this for sure. 46.5. I think that's a bit too low. This should be something where we should probably get 48.5 or whatever. So I think we're getting a slight discount. Saints are bottom 5 in fantasy points per allowed per drop back. So this is a great spot for Caleb Williams as well. We all know the rushing can be there for him as well. So yeah, look, I think in a game like this, I guess I'm going to take Chicago to cover, just because I know the Bears defense is not the best right now, but I do think they have more of the better pieces for this matchup, in which the Bears can, get this thing done. And that being said, I think 5,900 for Kamara is very contrarian in this spot because most people aren't going to get to him because there's so many other running backs on this slate. Somewhat similar to last week, where it's like you could play other guys in that range. And 5,900 for Kamara just seems like the right price. We're not getting such a discount with Kamara. I was hoping he'd be like more like 5,500 or something like that, 5,600. Either way, 300 for DraftKings prices is not crazy. But it's something where if Kamara just finds the game where he if we get back to the Kamara days of him catching like 8 or 9 catches out the backfield and making things a lot more easier, then yeah, I'd be more on Kamara in this spot. But the pace up spot is interesting for him here if you're going to get contrarian, for sure. But I think, I think a game in this environment should expect, I think if we go back to the Bears-Raiders game from a few weeks back, I think this kind of reminds me of this spot.
Yeah, I guess I could see that for sure, except for I think like the only difference is like the Raiders had a better pass rush or have a better pass rush than the Saints do. So I think like that's one reason why I feel like even more comfortable, because for as much as I love Caleb Williams, like one of the things or one of the areas that like he's got to show growth in is like when he does get pressured for sure. That's one of the spaces but other than that, like I think everything else, actually there was a stat for him, like as far as like touchdown to interception ratio. Like I think like he has one of the best ones since Patrick Mahomes, I believe, is what I was seeing. So like, again, man, like it's a good spot. The rushing upside is definitely a good call because I think that's a very underrated element of his game that like people don't talk about enough is that side of things. And Kamara, like, no, he hasn't been catching a lot of passes for sure. And things are convoluted now because Taysom Hill is back. But like overall, man, like you said, man, like I think like the pricing for him is just like it's at a place now where like it's not a big gamble, and there's a lot of chalkier plays on DraftKings and on FanDuels when you get to that price range. So like if you want to get different, that's the guy for you for sure. And Olave, maybe this is the week that he actually really pops off and maybe breaks the slate, because again, like the targets have been there for him. But one other call out too, real quick, and I'll wrap it up, is like just the difference between the Bears and the Saints. I mean, the Saints splits on the road versus being at home. Like definitely a different team on the road for sure, and we know what it's like up there in Chicago.
Yep.
So I don't
On the
know.
dome, baby.
Yeah. Like if this team was in a dome, I would feel a lot better. But I think like guys like Kamara and Olave, like being outside, like I'm not afraid of those guys out there. So yeah, so I'm with you, man. I'll take the Bears too.
Jamie, got a side for this?
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I'll take the Bears.
Bears in 3. Let's do it.
Bears in 3. Let's do it. On to a crap game that no one's going to care about.
This is going to be the game of the week, y'all.
Don't get me started, bro. We ain't going to talk about it.
Right, we can talk about it. My team at least wins, man. They at least got wins.
Anyhow, Panthers getting a 1.5 difference for the Jets being at home. 41.5 over under for this game. And what's the deal with not giving Rico Dowell the full reins of this backfield after, again, he did what he had to do, tore apart bad run defenses back-to-back weeks. And now Chuba Hubbard, coming back into the fray, like his calf injury and all that. But in terms of this game, I think this line for the Panthers, like the way they could totally do things, I think this line might be a little too low. Give me the Panthers. The Jets are a mess. The only thing I would say is obviously Garrett Wilson is someone that, he hyperextended his knee. So he's going to be out a couple of weeks. We're talking about Josh Reynolds and Tyler Johnson starting along with Mason Taylor. And then obviously Breece Hall in this backfield. Like, it's just a mess. And it's more about again, when you're looking at this situation, this is obviously one of those situations where it's people are going to want to get the Panthers for sure. But it's again, do I count the Jets out? Of course not. But it's there's not a lot to work with. If Justin Fields is going to give me anything like he was, I know that the Denver defense was a situation that we didn't expect 9 sacks out of and overseas. But for whatever reason, the Jets were still hanging around the game for quite some time. So kudos to that defense. So, I just think I honestly I don't really care for this game because I don't pay attention to the Jets anymore. But it's one of those things where I think the Panthers can win this game, but will I be shocked if the Jets come out and finally put things together, even without some of their best weapons? No. So, yeah, look. No, I'll change my mind. Give me the Jets and give me the over. Because I do think that the situation could call for Carolina's run defense has been stifling. They are literally a defense that just takes away the run game. And we've talked about it, John. This run defense for the Panthers has been just a situation where they allow the lowest success rate to zone run attempts. So that is where the Jets find, their bread and butter with Breece Hall at the moment. So this could be a spot where a lot of people are on Breece Hall from ownership perspective. But I do think that this is not exactly the spot where I don't think Breece Hall can really blow up. The only way he could, outcome-wise, is that if the Jets actually put it all together, score a few touchdowns, and that's where he kind of gets it. But what are you saying, Johnny, to this game in terms of X and O's, in terms of how you see it?
Well, I'm glad you kind of switched your mind on taking the Jets because I've been waffling back and forth on this game. I've been riding I've been riding.
I just waffled it now.
Yeah, I know. I've been riding with the Carolina Panthers, man, the last 2 weeks, and I was like, oh my God, am I really gonna ride with them going into MetLife today? I was like, God, this feels so gross.
It's gross. It's terrible. I need a shower now. Hello.
For both of them, for both teams. And to go back to your original statement, about why are the Panthers not giving Rico Dowdle the full load? I think just because Chuba Hubbard he's still Chuba Hubbard. It's not like he fell off. No, he don't get that no more. He don't get that no more. He only got that when he was putting up. He just Chuba Hubbard
anymore.
Yeah, he just Chuba Hubbard now. But like no, I think like right, like it's definitely a way for them to preserve Rico Dowdle for sure, and like the way that this offense runs, it's not like an air it out type of offense. Pace wise, or even that, like that's just what they want to do. It's not like if they have to throw the ball, they will. I think they're still trying to keep Bryce Young protected in some respect. So there's that. And then there's like the Jets, like this seems and feels like a spot where the Jets would win because, like you said, like the Panthers are favored. They've been playing good ball. It's written on the wall, right? And they played a tough game against the Broncos last week. I will give them that for as much as I shit on the Jets, mostly just because it's your team. But like the other thing too is like this week, one thing, the Carolina Panthers are not aggressive at all as far as like the pressure rate. And they're dead last in that space. And Justin Fields, for everything that said, if he has time, he still is a quarterback in the National Football League. I think we all know what he can do from a mobility side of things. So I do like him. As I was kind of going through my process last night and this morning, I was like, I feel like I don't have enough Justin Fields. And I didn't have a lot, but I was like, I feel like I just need a little bit more of him just because of the game. Because like you mentioned, man, like last 2 weeks been talking about it, how good Carolina has been against the run and what they've done with running backs. Like, no, like they did not shut down Bijan Robinson, but let's be real, who has? But obviously last week, Javonte Williams, one of the top 5 fantasy running backs going into last week. You've seen what they did in a situation like that. So Breece Hall, I agree with you. I think this is just not a spot that I feel really comfortable being like overweight in the field with him. I think he's like almost 30 or 35%. He's projected to come in around 35%. So that's just not a place like I feel really comfortable being overweight there. I think I might knock it down to maybe like if I can get it to like 15 or probably 15, I would feel okay with at that space. And if I miss out, again, a lot of value on this slate here at running back today. Not a lot of games, but a lot of value if you ask me at running back. And then the other call out too, man, been talking about this. The Panthers are not very good against tight ends. Like they're not very good against tight ends. And I think this is a perfect setup for him for sure, given what the Jets don't have on the outside. Carolina ranks 30th in receiving yards allowed to tight ends lined up in line this season. So this is a great spot for Mason Taylor, I feel like. So I'm playing some Justin Fields. I'm playing some Mason Taylor. I'm also playing a little bit of Bryce Young. I'm just going to close my eyes and grit my teeth and just go ahead and take the Jets as well. So that way, if this goes sideways, we can both be in purgatory today. And then I can just come back at you and tell you about how bad your team sucks. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of that juju over there on you as far as team wise. What you got, Jamie?
Salt for me today? What the heck is going on here? Like I thought
it's just the Jets. That's it. Like we're on the same page, man. We're taking the Jets today, man. We're taking the Jets today, and if they win,
you're something out. But they suck. I'm gonna come back to you saying the team sucks and cost me money and da da da.
No, they're not gonna cost me money, man. Because I would imagine if the Jets cost me money, then I deserve to lose at that point, man. I deserve to lose at that point. So, but I do have Mason Taylor actually, man, in one of my TD parlays today. So I am rooting for him today because I definitely like the situation he's in today.
All right,
what you got, Jamie?
You guys are brave, man. You guys are brave. Jets. I mean, look, this could be the game of the week. It's not going to be, but it could be. We have no clue. But the Jets without Garrett Wilson, you got to be kidding me, bro. It's already been an S show. It's already been that. So all you can hope for is that this is a day where the Jets defense shows up and keeps it close. And it won't matter. And they'll only need 1, maybe 2 scores. And that could absolutely happen against the Panthers. A field goal, you only need a couple of points. I mean, and that could happen. That could happen as the Panthers. But I'm telling you, it's not likely that it's going to happen. I want Rico to be, the every down back. It's not going to happen. He's not going to be the every down back. But I still think that he is going to be the guy. And it goes back to what happened before the season started. Before the season started, we talked about how, I mentioned that Chuba, they did everything they possibly could this offseason to get somebody in who could handle pass work, because Chuba was just a zero in pass. And now that you've got this guy who's outrun Chuba, which Chuba, that's his superpower. He's a great runner. He's an awesome runner. He's going to get in today, and if he gets a chance, he's going to break some nice runs. But they're going to have to take him out, and they don't have to take Rico out at any point. I mean, they will, but they don't have to. And so if Chuba is getting the, early down work, but then he's going out and Rico's coming in on Chuba's drives and nobody's coming in on Rico's drives, well, Rico's going to still be the lead guy. It's going to be a committee, just like it is everywhere. But I truly believe that there's still a chance that this is like really Rico's backfield. But anyway, that's on the side of the game. I do think that with the 1-2 of Chuba and Rico, and the way the Panthers offensive line has been, working and again the run, I think that this is going to be, there's a good shot that, and we got Coker coming back today too, I believe. Is Coker back?
He is officially back today, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a difference maker for Bryce Young. That could be a difference maker on third downs and, just keeping drives alive where some of those drives were dying. I mean, that could make a big difference. So I see the Panthers like with a hammer, like taking this, but anything can happen. Justin Fields is, he's awesome runner of the ball. He could have a great day, or he could have a day like last week where he held the ball and literally got sacked literally on every single play. I was like, what are we doing here? Like, does he have brain contusion? Like, throw the ball, run. Dude, like he literally got sacked like 5 times in a row. I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Right.
Yeah.
He's a box of chocolates. You'll never know what the heck you're gonna get.
Love it.
I mean, he's an amazing talent. I mean, he has amazing ability. But
just like
will we see it today?
Just like with Caleb Williams, Justin Fields is definitely
no, they're not in the same box.
No. You guys didn't let me finish my point.
Okay.
Both of them, in terms of processing, like are slow to that.
Well, I would agree that Caleb still, is a little slow in certain areas, but I would also say that the offense that he's digesting this season would probably dictate that it was going to take some time for him to digest it all and to really, understand it. So, Johnson's offense is pretty complex. I think he's showing signs of progression, which is all. That's all you want to see. That's all you want to see. Progress.
I agree with that. Next game we go. Panthers. Patriots. Titans. Patriots getting 7 on the road. Going into Tennessee. Mike Vrabel returns back to Tennessee, and Patriots on the road getting 7. From this perspective for the Patriots, Drake May obviously playing, hot football. Day overall, in terms of how it just goes for Drake May, he's averaged 22 fantasy points for over the last 5 contests. And this is a spot where I do think Patriots handle business. Titans play a lot of cover 4 and cover 2. So when Drake May has been seeing that this season, he's been dropping back and his deep ball rate goes down. So he's going to check the ball down a lot more. So this could be a nice Stephon Diggs moment. I know he's going to be playing, expected to play. He had a questionable tag. I think it was his chest, a couple of days back, but he should be good to go. This could still be a spot for Kayshon Boutte. But again, a lot of cover 4 and cover 2. What's that allow you to do is going to take away a lot of the quarters, going to take away a lot of the deep throw opportunities. But Boutte can still get that. But it's something where I think it's going to be a Stephon Diggs, it's going to be a Hunter Henry type of game. If you get Stevenson and overall Henderson over there in the flats and check downs and stuff like that, like Drake May has been really smart and very calculated with how he's been playing this season. Again, we still haven't seen much of the rushing that we know is definitely there. So we could probably see a potential sprinkle of that today. Obviously, Jeffrey Simmons, obviously, is one of the best defensive linemen in the game. So it's like, that upfront pressure could find, Drake May, scrambling a little bit more today. But yeah, I mean, give me the Patriots, give me the 7 on the road. Mike Vrabel's going to want to stick it to his old franchise and how the way he left. On the other side for Tennessee, obviously Mike McCoy now is the interim head coach. In times like these, you're going to also want to figure out what your whole offense is about. There's been reports about, Ward and the dumbing down of the playbook, so to speak, in terms of like simpler-ish type of concepts, whatever that means. But again, no Calvin Ridley for this team today. It's going to be Alec Ayomanor over here, probably getting a lot. We're going to talk about Chigakonkwo most likely. We're going to talk about these other weapons. I'm curious to see how the Pollard Spears situation shapes out, because with this new interim head coach, he probably could see Spears playing a little bit more, because we'll find out again how that looks like. But if you have Pollard, like I'd be a little nervous in general, but I still think they both can get theirs. But again, that's going to be one of those things where teams like we'll just find out what the Titans like situation just looks like. I think hopefully Ward just plays a lot better. I don't know like exactly when you say like dumbing down the playbook, like does that just mean that you're going to be doing high school football stuff, like what I'm saying, like run pass type of thing, like, or just keeping things simpler? I think so. We'll just see how it goes from a overall game perspective. But yeah, give me the Patriots in this situation. I still like the over because it's still 42.5. I still think it's something where the Titans can backdoor their way into getting some points on the back end. Obviously, the Patriots defense is pretty decent as well. So that's what I like. Swanson, up in the chat. What up, my guy? Drop any questions you got. You got anything you want to add, or you just want to tease me and John? Feel free to do so. And say hello to Jamie. He's awesome. But yeah, that being said, John, what you got for us?
This game has like the most drama of the day, like not on the football field. Like it definitely has the most drama. Like, you mentioned it. Vrabel going back home, coaching change in Tennessee. And typically these are the spots where this game is going to tell a lot for me about the Titans. This is really going to say like how good or how bad the environment was, because if it was a bad environment, I feel like you're probably going to get a really good game for the Titans today. And also too, some of those players were, ex-players of Mike Vrabel as well. So I think like there's a lot at stake on both sides as far as, emotion. So I'm really interested to see how this game goes. Patriots have won 3 in a row. They're hot right now. I think this is one of these situations where I'm probably going to swap out some of my lineups this morning from Patrick Mahomes to Drake May. Because I think like right now, like Drake May is one of the better quarterbacks in football, and he's just right in front of our face. And I think like we might be trying to like overcomplicate it. So I think this is a really good spot for him. I think I agree with you, like with Diggs and Hunter Henry. I think this is like a really good spot for him. I just kind of worry about like Diggs a little bit, just because I'm not sure how much of Diggs they need to win this game. He'll produce. He'll give us some good numbers for sure. I'm gonna play him, like no doubt. I think he's at a really good price. I think on FanDuel he's like 5,800 or 5,600 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 5,800. So I think that's a great price tag for him on FanDuel for sure. And then just trying to nail down this running back situation again, man. Like, how many times are, they're going to let Ramondre, fumble it before, Travion gets more work. Like it's going to be there. It's going to happen at some point. You just, at this point, man, you just got to hold on for dear life at that space. But there's that. I'm not playing anybody in the Tennessee run game just because New England has been phenomenal against the run this year. So like, I'm not even, Tony Pollard's not even in my pool of players this week. Neither is Tajay Spears. And then like Hunter Henry, just a quick call out for him as well. 35% red zone target share through the first 6 weeks of the season. And that's the highest mark since Gronk. So he's definitely the guy there. So like at tight end in DFS, like you can definitely throw him in your lineup for sure. I just wrote it down. I'm like, you know what? I need to go ahead and cook up like an anytime TD parlay or anytime TD with him. But yeah, I think this game's got Patriots, should have Patriots all over it. But if there's a game that would be a trap game today, I think this is the game that could potentially end up being a trap game. But I'm just going to take the Patriots on the money line. if I was going to do anything points wise, and I don't know why I'm so like fearful that the Titans are like all of a sudden going to like show up and have life today. Probably just because I can never gauge them correctly is probably why. Never. So like the moment that I'm like, nah, man, the Pats will smoke them by 21.
Yeah.
This will be what it is. So, and then man, also too, man, like I won't shout out Vandy because I would never do that, but like definitely big win yesterday for Vanderbilt against LSU. So man, the city's going to be buzzing down there for sure. Big game, man. So yeah, but give me the Patriots and give me a lot of Hunter Henry today. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I think I'm going to swap some of those Patrick Mahomes is out with Drake May.
Yeah. All right. Jamie?
Oh, mute.
Can't hear you. Uh-oh. Technical
There we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't know my mic did that. I hit it in the app, but my mic didn't mute. Okay. Anyway, if it goes the way it's supposed to, the Patriots are going to smash this one. Obviously it's NFL, anything can happen. I don't, if you have Patriots, I'll put it like this. If you have Diggs, you have to play him. But from a receiving perspective, I just don't know, what you're going to get with this. It feels a lot like Drew Brees back in the day. It's like Brees is going to go off. He's going to go off, but what receiver's going to go off? Who knows? Yep. I don't know. So if you got Diggs, you got to play him. He's showing that he's still a baller. It's not that we haven't got to that consistency yet. I think if you have Booty, you can, that's more like a desperation play. If you got,
I was like, no, I'm not gonna be a third grade kid.
If you got Booty, you're doing good. Yeah, with Ramondre and Henderson, you just got to wait it out, man. I mean, it's a true rookie running back situation where you got a coach who wants him to be a rookie, who wants him to earn everything, and clearly he did something that Vrabel didn't like, or he hasn't hit that. It is what it is, man. He was never a workhorse back in the first place, so we should never have expected that in the first place. We weren't sure, even if he was going to be out there, how much Drake was going to be throwing to the running backs, because Drake is a scrambler. I mean, he hasn't been scrambling as much this year, but so you just got to hold on and hope that it's one of those end of the season. He kind of gets it together and slowly works his way in. That's just it. I'm a little frustrated by the situation myself, but with the Titans, man, you hate to hear the dumbing down stuff. You hate to hear them breaking out the terminology that they use to describe black quarterbacks, especially in their rookie season on garbage teams. You hate to hear that already. But Cam Ward is a obviously talented guy. Like, you can see his talent. You could see he can make all of the throws. It's going to be fine as long as they give him a system to grow in. But right now, wow, it's kind of hold on to Tajay Spears, because I'm not sure if they're going to move Pollard or if they're just going to phase him out a little bit. But Tajay Spears could have some, especially they're going to be behind a lot. So they're going to have to throw the ball. So Tajay could have a little, have a little benefit there, but not right now. Just let them dudes sit. Hopefully you can afford to let them sit, because that's it. Drake May, forget everything else.
I think that Tajay Spears call is, I think it's a good call long term, because obviously you have like a new coaching staff right now, and so obviously the situation that they're in, they're never going to come out and say and it's still early, but they're never going to come out and say that they're shutting it down or this or that. But now it's the time you got to start evaluating talent, especially if you're an interim head coach. All those guys they want a long term job. So now's the time, man, to start evaluating those pieces, man. So I think that's a good call. And if I'm not mistaken, Tony Pollard's 29, ain't he? I think he's a little bit older. I'm pretty sure. I know he's
he is 29, yeah.
Yeah, he's 29. Yeah. So I think we all know what happens at 30. So 1 year or 2 years, no matter what. And maybe Spears is not the guy, because I know
it'd be 29 by next season.
Okay. But even with Spears, we know the craziness with his knees and stuff. So I just think overall, it's just I think they were trying to hit some kind of like win now window or be competitive now window, and it's just kind of it looks like it's worse. It is worse than what it was when they started the process. So who knows, man?
That's real.
What you got, man?
That's it. That's
All
it. Patriots taking the Patriots and win the over, and that's it. To another crap game we go. Weather is also weather for this game, and then also the game we just talked about earlier. Just seen the over under go from 46.5 down to 44.5, and the Saints getting an extra point. There's going to be more gust and winds for the area of like the Chicago, Ohio area. So something where this might change a few things in terms of how like people may perceive the game. I'm still not ready to 100% like pivot. I still think this, 44.5 is still a decent number. But something to keep in mind with the wind and the gust today, because there could be like 30, 35 mile per hour winds at some point. And that leads us to the Dolphins-Browns game, which over under just keeps on dropping. It was like opened at like 39.5, and now it's back down to 34, 34.5. People keep on, kind of backing the Dolphins a little bit. I'm seeing some sharp money coming on them for the point spread. So they went down, went to 3.5, 3, 2.5. Now it's back to 3, to where, seems pretty viable. But yeah, Dolphins, Browns, Dolphins in a spot where, again, the weather could be concerned. We could see a ton of more runs between both of these teams today. So there's that. But as far as X and O's perspective, from both of these teams, it's literally, Judkins should have an opportunity to run all over Miami. Miami the last couple of weeks has been, just dreadful against the run. They are dead last in DVOA against the run. And it's a situation where Judkins should have a totally of a ball game against this unit, because they've just allowed constantly, running backs to just, run all over them. So if that's the case, then this could be a spot for Miami where they'll have to creatively get things going offensively. I like Miami in this spot though, because I know the Browns defense is really tough as well. I just think that Miami just has a little bit more talent, to where it's like, okay, like I think 3 is a perfect spot for them. And I just think that in these situations, I think you want to back the players that, get you there, Devon Achane. And I think if he doesn't get enough touches today, then they definitely going to lose the game. So, but again, crap game. I don't like Miami like that, but it is what it is. All I'm cheering for is Devon Achane. So, but give me Miami. The 34.5 is so tough, because I've seen obviously games like this where the over can definitely hit. So because I like cheering for over, give me the over.
All right. Well, no, I just was like checking like the what's the name, the weather for Chicago. Yeah, for Chicago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the gusts. So maybe I might end up moving off of some of that Caleb Williams and some of that game, maybe a little bit, but I also don't want to be too like knee jerky.
Me neither. Yeah, that's the problem.
I don't. Yeah, like every time we see weather, everybody just becomes knee jerky on everything.
We got to pivot everywhere. Like, not everywhere.
Yeah. Now the Cleveland game, like that's the one that looks like that's a little bit more concerning, with wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour. So I think in a situation like that, that does. For me, I don't feel like that benefits like Tua and Achane and those guys, right? Because like for Achane, obviously we know what he does in the passing game, like, and he's still gonna do Achane things, like he's that dude. Like there ain't no slander on his name over here, ain't no smut on his name over here for sure. Just like I think from like a game script perspective, I do think it does limit him. Cleveland, man, I think this falls right in their wheelhouse. This is exactly what they want to do, man. They want to get close to you, they want to touch you up. They want to punish you. They want to run the ball. They want to get after the quarterback. I think like this is a spot right here that's a little bit scary for me if I'm a Dolphins fan, or if I'm a Tua owner, or Jalen Waddle, anything like that. I mean, it'll probably have to be quick, but I think we know like Tua, this isn't a good spot for him is what I'm really trying to say. Like overall, it's not. There's a lot of really good things for Devon Achane for sure. Overall, like in his situation as far as receiving. Darren Waller, top 5 in tight ends, red zones. Cleveland ranks 30th in red zone touchdowns allowed. So might be another really good situation for him. Might be all about a couple of different tight ends to look at today in that space. So you can obviously play him. From an ownership perspective, this game, Quinshon Judkins is one of the chalkiest players on the slate. I think deservingly so. There has not been a spot where the Dolphins have really done anything well. Like, guys have actually absolutely cooked them. We know what happened with Rico Dowdle. Kamani Vidal had his coming out party. James Cook had one of his 100-yard games. Justin Fields and Breece Hall's. And then the only guy that really actually didn't torch them was Jonathan Taylor in week 1 because, well, they didn't need to. Everything else was going. So there's good chalk and bad chalk, and Quinshon today. This is great chalk for sure. So I am going to go against the grain, and I'm going to take the Browns in this space. I just think like it's a lot more fitting. And shout out to my Pittsburgh Steelers for giving everybody in the AFC North hope now. So again, this is another reason why the Browns will probably win. So yeah, let's do it.
Oh boy, Jamie, what you got to add?
Yeah, I definitely hear you guys. It makes a lot of sense what you're saying. I got to go with the Dolphins, though. I mean, I know it's a real bad matchup. Defensively, it's a bad matchup. And obviously, if you got 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, nobody likes to hear that. But Dolphins have absolutely no problem at all with going with the short pass game. And I think there's an opportunity there for, those guys to do their thing. And on top of that, it's just the Brown. I mean, Dylan Gabriel, just garbage, man. Just absolute garbage. You're going to purposely keep this guy in the game because you don't want to look like an idiot because you drafted the guy who you should have drafted after him and you didn't want him in the first place. Well, you look like an idiot with Dylan Gabriel in the game. So
talk your shit, Jamie.
Congratulations, man. You're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? And you gave away your best quarterback. So there you go.
Talk your shit, Jamie.
Hopefully this is Quinshon Judkins. I mean, obviously, we need him to get the ball on every freaking play, basically, and then you can bring somebody else in to give him a breather. But this is just it could easily be the Dolphins getting shut down by an amazing defense, and then it doesn't really matter. Again, it's just like a whoever has the ball at the end type game. But give me the Dolphins, give me Waddle. I'm not gonna get too afraid of wind, even though I know it can, obviously trash a passing day. But Waddle is balling right now, and who's the tight end from the Raiders? Darren Waller's what? Darren Waller's balling. Like, what happened?
I know. Best thing that happened for him is the rapping career flopped, I guess, man.
Bro. And Achan is the man, bro. Like people are not putting respect on his name. Like this dude is 190 pounds. He looks, I mean, I'm not gonna say he looks like Barry, but he looks strong. He's strong out there, bro. He's breaking tackles. He's like running, he's receiving, he's doing everything. He's a Marshall Faulk type dude. Keep going. He's a Marshall Faulk type dude. Like that's fine. I mean, bro. Come on, like the talent is on Miami's side. I'm going with Miami, and F the Browns, man.
I like that. I like everything you just said, man.
I do have Judkins, though. I do have Judkins.
Love it.
Good Lord, that was good. That was a mic drop for sure. Raiders, talk about a game and a team that's, man. Raiders getting 11.5 in a row, going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Over under 45.5 currently. I'm just going to double check the line to be sure. And yeah, Raiders now getting 12.5 now. This is according to DraftKings Sportsbook. And yeah, Raiders 12.5 going in. And yeah, let's just say it. Rashee Rice returns today for Kansas City. And after this long suspension that, we're not cheering why he, what he did or whatever, because we're football fans and we kind of don't care as long as our players are playing and putting up numbers. But that being said, Rashee Rice returns to the fold. Expecting, them to, there's definitely quotations that, this should be, Rice's like, there shouldn't be any type of leniency in terms of like snap counts and his usage and stuff like that. Raiders play cover 3, one of the highest in the league. And when Rashee Rice plays against these coverages, he averages 4 yards per route run against cover 3 and a 40% target rate. So expecting Rashee Rice to go the heck off today because, they want to get him back in the fold. Mahomes has been running for his life in some ways without him in some facets. And when it comes to, them just getting Rice acclimated, I feel is definitely the key that unlocks the rest of this offense on a consistent basis. Raiders are the second highest pass rate over expected. So just expect Mahomes. I expect him and Rice to get on the same page today. I expect them to obliterate them. Team total for the Chiefs today is 28.5. It's the highest on the slate. So, yeah, I mean, look, 12.5 seems like a lot. So I would tease this down to 7 just because, like, it's one of those situations where division games are always a mess. We just saw it on Thursday night. And the Raiders can all of a sudden just come out and play some decently played ball with Geno Smith. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's something where if you're doing the Chiefs a point spread, if you're teasing them down, stuff like that, that's what I would do. I think the 45.5 over seems decent, but again, it's division matchup. So it's like this game in general for me is like a stay away from a betting perspective. But to give you guys a sneak peek in terms of like the props perspective, like there's a certain player that I just talked about that I'm going to talk about right now real quick. Because obviously, Rashee Rice over 66.5 receiving yards, like he comes back. You could probably throw an anytime touchdown bet on this as well. Because honestly, like we've all been waiting for it. You know what I'm saying? We've all been waiting for Rashee Rice in some type of capacity. And I feel like this is definitely a game where this is like, if this was a matchup, if there was any matchup that he's going to blow up easily on, it's this. So there I got it. John, break it down for us. What you got?
Yeah, man, this game is like, I feel like when you look at it and you've seen what you've seen, you're like, Chiefs should smash. They should smash. Last 3 contests have all been 1-score games against the Raiders and the Chiefs. And the Raiders they've been probably worse than what they currently are right now. I think the Chiefs are a little bit better offensively, I think, than they've been over the last couple. So, like, this is like, I agree. Like, this is a division game. It's weird to me. I am staying away from it from a betting perspective. Like, from a pick side of things, I'm just taking the Chiefs straight up because I think we all know and we all feel like that the Chiefs would just find a way to win. But dadgummit, man, I can imagine Pete Carroll out there, man, getting those guys fired up today, dadgummit, and they'll be ready to play some ball. I can imagine it, man. Man, just excited to be here, man. Just excited for the opportunity to compete. So,
what's that, Art Williams?
No, man, that's Pete Carroll, man. He's just daggone fired up all the time, man.
You sound like someone like Art Williams was a guy like that did like a lot of like life insurance and stuff like that. Whatever.
Oh,
he'd always be saying "dadgummit" and this. So that's why I said. Anyway, I'll stop the
like, yeah, I don't know if he really curses like in public like that, but I could like this is definitely a weird spot, and you're. Like, I feel the same way you do about Rashee Rice, like, right? Like, as far as, like, him being able to go out here and being able to blow it up today and have a good game. However, Keyshawn Boutte is the one guy that has the only guy so far this year that's been over 100 yards against the Raiders. I think very similarly to the New Orleans Saints, they're not a pushover. They're not good. They haven't gotten good quarterback play from Geno Smith. Because the turnovers, I think we're all aware of that. And even when you go and you look at them from like a run side of things as well, like they haven't been like terrible in that space either. So like I get a vibe that this is definitely going to be a lot closer than what we expect. And just to kind of put it in perspective, the other guys, when you look at performance wise, Van Jefferson has the second most yards against the Las Vegas Raiders this year at 75, and they played guys like Quentin Johnston, Terry McLaurin, Rome Odunze. So like it's one of those things where like if you look at it and see this, you're like, I don't think I would have expected that from the Raiders, but this is what it's been, right? And then Patrick Mahomes, right? I think we've talked about it a couple times here on the show. I think he's third right now in quarterback rushing yards, I believe, or rushing attempts, something in the rushing space. He's like third in. It might be scrambles, but either way, it's been something that he's had to be a lot more mobile and had to utilize his legs a little bit more this season. So I do like Travis Kelce today. I think him, and I think the guy that actually is probably going to benefit the most from this is Xavier Worthy. That's the guy that's going to benefit the most from this, because that's the guy that's one shot, one kill. That's what it is. And obviously now, you have those three guys that teams have to account for. I like Xavier Worthy today, in a lot of spaces. I got him for an anytime touchdown. I feel like he can be he's going to be the forgotten man now. So I give me the Chiefs. And I'm cool with playing a little bit of Travis Kelce as well today in DFS. Got no problem with that, because I think this is a space where now he can kind of operate and not have to be, double covered and things like that right there. Ownership perspective, Rashee Rice is obviously blowing up the slate today. Everybody and their mom is playing him. So at 35% is where he's at. Patrick Mahomes, one of the highest owned quarterbacks, which, like I mentioned earlier, I think I'm getting ready to pivot off of him and get to Drake May. And then everybody else is just in single digits. So something to keep an eye on. I think they said he was going to play anyway today was Jacoby Myers. They said he was going to play. So there's that. And then hopefully Kansas City Chiefs offensive line can hold up against the Raider blitz today, if they blitz. So give me the Chiefs, man, overall.
Jamie, anything to add?
Oh, he's a Raiders fan. You're a Raiders fan, ain't you?
Yeah, long time.
Go ahead.
Lifetime Raider fan. So I can agree. The Raiders, even, regardless of who they are, any given Sunday, the Raiders can take the Chiefs to the limit. I don't care how good either team is. That's just true. But based in no facts or numbers. The thing about this, 12 points, that's way too high. That is way too high. I mean, first of all, the Chiefs, on face value, yes, I'm taking the Chiefs to win the game, just, straight up. But let's look at this, man. The Chiefs have not been that great this year. They have not been that great. All of a sudden now they're a juggernaut because they've kind of, figured some things out and they are playing better.
I disagree. I mean, Mahomes the last couple games, I'm saying, statistically, it's the last couple of years from Mahomes, it's been a situation where we've kind of shied away from for the fantasy circles, because it's for whatever reason, it just hasn't been popping like that since Tyreek Hill. I want to say, though, the last couple of games, and particularly against Detroit, on Sunday Night Football, you saw that they were starting even to put it all together, even without Rice. And that is definitely scary.
Yeah. And well, to me, that's, that is kind of the key to the blowout. If Rice comes out today and looks like the Rice who played for that 3-game stint, first of all, let's talk about Rice for just one quick second. Everybody has decided that Rashee Rice is I'm just gonna say a top 5 receiver in the league. What are we talking about, bro? This dude played 3 games last year. He had 3 awesome games. They were amazing. But now all of a sudden he's just it's kind of like what they did. Well, I'm not going to bring up that's a total subject.
I know you was going to go.
I know where you were going to go. Hey, it's your time to talk.
You can't talk your shit, man.
But my point is that we don't really know what Rashee Rice is yet. He had a good end to his rookie season. He had a great start to his second year, and that's it. He seems he seems awesome. He seems like an awesome fit for Patrick Mahomes. He seems like he can take Travis Kelce totally out of the game plan, because he does everything Travis Kelce does, only better. He can actually run after the catch. But I mean, if that's the case, if it comes out and it's just smashing 100% off the rip, then yes, the Chiefs could absolutely blow them out today. The Chiefs could blow them out without Rashee Rice. But my point is, the Chiefs have not been, this dominant force this year. So yes, the Raiders could come in and give them a game, but they're probably not. So I would say, yes, Chiefs are going to win this game, but 12 points is way too many. Just a, player note for the Raiders. Genty, it's really sad right now because Genty looks great. He looks like the dude, but offensive line problems, scheme problems. Why are they not throwing him the ball? Give yourself an easy button. nothing is working. Like the offense is trash right now.
Nothing is working.
Nothing is working.
Dump the ball up. They threw. Well, how many catches? He had 5 catches. I don't know how many targets he had. Week before last, he had 5 catches, and then last week he has 2. Like, just throw him the ball. Like, what else? What else are we doing? Obviously, without Brock Bowers, like the passing game is in peril. Like that is definitely has an effect on his offense because, you know, as much as we like Jacoby Myers, you know, from a fantasy perspective, he's just not a dude. And then after that, you got nothing. Trey Tucker, what do you have? Nothing.
Or as much as we did like him, now we don't like him very much anymore. And I'll shut up and I'll say this so you can have your shot, Nick. But Jamie, you know I love you, brother. But Patrick Mahomes on the year, fantasy QB1.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. Patrick Mahomes is balling. Patrick Mahomes is always balling, whether he's getting the numbers or not. I would never take that away from Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying from, you know, an overall perspective of the Chiefs. Like, it's just, you know, like, yes, Chiefs are going to win this game. I'm not going to give them 12 points. That's all. That's it.
Fair enough.
Nice.
Fair enough.
I feel you on that though. I feel you. That.
And I hope Rashee Rice does go off. I do have him, but I'm not confident in that. We'll see.
Okay. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna see. Eagles going into Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Pretty much a pick 'em almost. The Eagles are getting favored by 1.5. Total is 43.5. I think this is an easy spot for the over. I just think this line is just a little too low. This should be like a 46.5 just due to we're getting a 3-point advantage here when it comes to the over under. Just because I think that, you know, we have Carson Wentz playing his old Eagles team, you know. There's that narrative. There's also this other narrative about Saquon Barkley, which we'll get to. But in terms of the Vikings, like Vikings are bottom 3rd in the league when it comes to adjusted yards per contact. And then Hurts versus the blitz, not very good, especially now going up against Brian Flores' defense. And that's something where we'll have to consistently watch throughout the game. Because of Hurts, it's going to be a long day for Hurts if he can't get success against the blitz. So I'm guessing, like, from a perspective of some check downs and whatnot, like Dallas Goedert leads this team in freaking target shit right now. Is absolutely weird, bizarro stuff right now. When it comes to Dallas Goedert, he's been having a great year for them. But it's like, you got to get A.J. Brown more involved. You got to get Devontae Smith the ball a lot more. Like, there have to be a lot more going on here. But what I'll say about Barkley here is that, you know, Vikings right now 24th in run DVOA. This could be a great spot for Barkley here in terms of how the Eagles can establish the run here and then set up the play action later on. I like the Eagles here. Give me them here in this spot. I think that this is a spot for the Eagles where, in my head, in terms of evaluation and in terms of how things go, this could be a spot where if the Eagles don't get this one here, and the Vikings obviously come off the bye and everything, makes a ton of sense. But it's like, I think the Eagles, for their own selves, as far as like Super Bowl aspirations, I'm not saying this is like the, you know, a danger spot where if they don't get it done, whatever. It's more about if to keep, you know, they just lost to the Giants 10 days ago. And they lost to Denver the week prior to that. So it's like, it's one of those things where momentum wise, the Eagles don't get off the schnein, they say it. This could be something where, you know, again, you lost 3 straight games and 2 of those opponents you had probably in a way had no business to doing. And then that last one, you let up a 17-0 lead. So let the other team come back and score 18 points on answer. And I'm talking about Denver. So yeah, like there's a lot of things for the Eagles. I'm not saying that your fans or whatever should panic or whatever, but it's like, again, you want to get off the schneid. You want to get a victory. You want to get off this, you know, 2-game losing streak where you haven't really had that in like the last like 3 or 4 years. So that being said, give me the Eagles in this spot. I think they're desperate. I think they're hungry. I think they're going to get this done. Johnny, what you say?
Yeah, this is one of the tougher games for me because like everything like you were saying, like you know, like it all makes sense, and we're on the same page. Which I love it when that happens, but it's also kind of boring when it happens. But I love it when it happens. Because like the Vikings,
I love you.
like it's cool. Like I don't mind it. Like you know what I mean. Like I'm like, all right, like that makes sense. Like because I'm on the same page with you. Because like like no spoilers, but like what you're going to talk about later on the show. Like I looked at this morning, I was like, you have to be kidding me. Like I can't even believe that. Yeah. I can't even believe. I like can't even believe it. But like Bijan, Quinshawn, like. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's the Quans. Bijan, Quinshawn, Saquon. I don't know.
Pick one.
Yes. Both of those guys went absolutely nuclear. And I think like the other element to call out too is just how bad Philly has been against the run, like as well. Like this isn't your traditional Philadelphia Eagles run defense that we've been accustomed to seeing, knowing like, nah, like we're not going to play guys like against them. Like, no, like they've given it up to Cam Scatterbo. They've given it up to Kyron Williams, right? Like, Patrick Mahomes ranks in the top 5 in rushing against these guys so far this year. So like, I think like that says a lot. And Jordan Mason is obviously like in a really good spot. Like he's a guy that like we loved all off season and kind of had a feeling that the Aaron Jones injury bug would strike. It has, and he's been a very, very solid play.
You definitely nailed that one in terms of the injury, and I was like, this makes sense. It's gonna happen, right?
It's like, we knew it was gonna happen. And then the other part too is now Philadelphia in the secondary. Like, there's some questions to be answered there in that space as far as the injury report, which we'll have to see. No Quinyon Mitchell today, man. You got Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison out there, man, potentially running around being crazy. That could be scary hours as well. So I understand why the Eagles are the pick, because they have lost 2 in a row, and you just in your head, you just can't be like, I can see the Eagles losing 3 games in a row. And I still don't know who I'm going to pick until the words come out of my mouth, because these are 2 really good coaches, right? And I think like they can scheme for stuff. Minnesota's got a really long list of injuries here as far as like players that might play, might not play, whatever the case may be. I'm going to take the Eagles, and I'm going to take the Eagles just because, like you said, they're desperate. It's got to be 2 games, and I just have a really hard time seeing a world where, and I'm probably going to change my mind 4 different times before the actual pick goes in. But like right now, like I'm definitely going to go with the Eagles. And I think like, right, today's the day, like in DFS, man, like if you can't play Saquon Barkley at 8,700 today on FanDuel, when would you ever be able to play him? Like, this is a guy last year. We know what he did. We know what the price tag was. So I think both running backs, I think there's a world where both running backs actually get busy here today for sure. Justin Jefferson is the highest owned player in this game at almost 14%. And then Saquon at 12, just looking at both sides. Yeah, man, give me the Eagles in this game. And obviously, probably, if I had to look at it, probably one of the best actual NFL games we should see today. So I'm actually pretty excited about this one.
Definitely. Jamie, what you got to add?
Yeah, that was just a really good breakdown by you guys. There's so many interesting things happening to the Eagles this year. I think in one sense, it's just like one of those deals like Aaron Rodgers just calm down, because I mean, it just can't always be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you got the Super Bowl, you got the ring, you've got most of your talent back, but you've got coaching changes, you've got offensive line pieces falling apart. The passing game looks off. Is it the coach? Is it the quarterback? Is it who? I mean, they're still the same dudes, So I'm leaving the door or the window or the light on or whatever the saying is for Saquon and Jalen to get it together. From a receiving perspective, I think it's always going to be scary, especially when you have 2 receivers as good as Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. I mean, they're just awesome receivers. So if you have a passing game, or if you have an offense that doesn't necessarily need to rely on the passing game, that could, that's bad. Like, receivers want the damn ball. Like, you can't play around with those guys. Like we're talking about the best receivers in the world. Those dudes want the ball. So, people are like kind of like, well, why is AJ Brown, why is Smith complaining? Well, because they're alpha receivers, bro, and they're not getting the ball. So I mean, I don't think that's as big. I do think things are a little bit off right now. But then was it? I mean, they were still smashing people for the first 3 weeks. So it's not fun for fantasy purposes. It's just not. But you got to roll Saquon out there. You got to roll Jalen out there. He's still doing his thing. You got to hope that this offense can kind of figure a few things out and doesn't end in a disaster like the other season where it just completely fell off the rails. So I'll take the Eagles here, even though the Vikings defense is scary. Depending on the matchup, they can really pick you apart. But I just have no faith. Is Wentz the quarterback today?
Yes.
Yep. Officially, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Oh yeah,
it's a Philly defense, bro. Like, like I love Justin Jefferson. He's the best.
The Eagles been really leaky lately, though, too.
Yeah.
So that's something where it's like I know the Eagles, and they've been this, but they've been leaky last couple games, and that's kind of like led to 34 points. The Giants scored on them. 34 points.
Yeah.
Giants scored on them.
Yeah. That was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy.
So again, you're in this matchup, you're hoping that the Eagles in general, are going to take advantage of the defensive line, getting Carter back and other incidental pieces and stuff like that for this defense, so they can get a little bit more tighter up in certain things.
Yeah. They didn't have Carter last week, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, because remember the suspension and stuff like that he had to serve. Or sorry, the late he was a late scratch injury wise.
Yeah.
For that game. Okay. So Haywood, what up, my guy? What's happening? Happy Sunday. We're gonna get it. And good luck. Much love. Appreciate you, yo. Haywood is a superstar for us. We really appreciate him. If you ain't seen none of his work yet, please check that out on X. His tag is below. Does great stuff, and I'm sure he'll be back on the show with us soon enough. And that's a special shout out for Haywood for sure. To the next game we go. We have the 4 o'clock games now. We're going to the 4 o'clock window where we have 3 games in the 4 o'clock window. The first one we'll start with the Colts and the Chargers. 4 games in the 4 o'clock window. First game we'll start with is the Colts getting 2.5 going into Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. Over under is 48.5. This could be a spot where, in some cases, people in DFS are definitely going to get to. High over under. We have 2 defenses that are basically, especially the Colts, because now no Tre'Davious Ward, he's on the IR. That was news that came out, I think, late last night, early this morning. And that's something where, they're already signing guys off the street, in terms of for the Colts. And it's just getting even more messier for this Colts, at least the secondary. They're top 5 in pass funnels. They allow the 4th most deep receptions in terms of yardage allowed. And the Colts, for their defense, they only generate the 7th fewest in pressure rate. So what this tells me is that, again, Quentin Johnson could have definitely a big game down the field today. Obviously, it could be a Keenan Allen type of game. Ladd can get his as well. But also, Gadsden could also get some of his if he's going to still keep on what he's been doing. I haven't saw to see if Will Dissly is playing, but that's the person that keeps on kind of like still getting run. It's like Tyler Conklin is completely afterthought in this offense now.
He's not on the injury report.
Who isn't? Will Dissly?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, even then, it's like they've been showing signs that Gadsden could definitely be someone that they want to consistently use over and over. So there's that. But that's the overall Chargers side of things. Obviously, Kamani Vidal, we have to still watch for about if he's still going to get the run. Like, there was last week where, Haskins was supposed to be getting the run. And if you watch some of the tape in the game, they wanted to get Haskins going early, but Kamani Vidal literally had several runs in that game and then was just balling after that. So they really played the hot hand. So I do think Vidal is a tougher matchup-ish in this spot for him. But he's someone that is still, if you have him in your season-long leagues, you're starting him today. because he still can get there in more than one way. In terms from a receiving back perspective, I don't see any news yet about a veteran they're trading for or whatever about the Hampton news and stuff. But obviously we talked about it last week. The news is that he will be on the IR officially, obviously before games, but then he could be, missing a few more games after that. I guess the high ankle sprain is more severe, I guess, than they kind of led on to. So that's something just to keep out watch for. But for the Colts side of things, Jonathan Taylor, 8,800, man, this is a spot where if Taylor's usage consistently is where it is in terms of him getting the usage through the via like these check down passes and everything, man, this could be a game where Jonathan Taylor could potentially break the slate here. So there's that. Still like Tyler Warren in this spot as well. He commands a 30% target share per route run against zone coverage. So that's something where you want to keep your eyes out for as well. For whatever reason, like the Chargers' pass defense has really not really been all the way in sync when it comes to how these teams, when it comes to their defense. So it's a spot where I do think that both of these defense can, they can allow a ton of points in this spot. So there's a lot of viable options in this game. It's just more about where you kind of want to go with it. So for the game wise, like I said, I think this is a spot where for me, for the Colts, where it's like you got to put up or shut up. In this same spot on the road a few weeks ago against the Rams, you fell short. So in order for me to really see like this Colts team is really on the playoff wave, they have to get this done on the road. But I'm gonna say the Chargers. Khalil Mack comes back for his defense today, so that should be something that we got to watch for as well. I don't think he'll be on a limited snap count really because I think it was a wrist injury, so it's not like it has anything to do with his cardio or anything. But it's something to definitely keep watch out for. But I do like the Chargers in this spot. I know the offensive line is not where it needs to be. I just don't believe that the Colts defense is anything to be afraid about, especially with all these injuries on the back end. And I do think that because the Chargers offense from a passing perspective can get it there. So Johnny, what you got for this game?
Will you stop being so bored? I hate this. Like, I hate this. I hate this.
Well, I said it last week about the Colts after our recap. It's like, yeah, the Colts got they're doing their thing, but it's like I do think that they need to prove it in spots where like this one. So
no, I agree. Like I agree with you 100%. No, and like I got the Chargers in this game for sure because like I agree with you. I think just the last couple of weeks, the Colts secondary issues have not been exposed, and I was just kind of like looking. I'm like, all right, well, let me see. Like, let me see. So again. No smut on Jonathan Taylor at all, zero. One of his top performances anyway was against the Broncos, so that's against a respectable unit. Titans was another number 1 overall finish for him positionally. The Raiders number 3 and the Cardinals number 8. I know we talked about the Raiders being tough, but those are all defenses that like we would never be like, oh, well, like yeah, they're stout. That's a stout defense, right? So. I think there's that. And I think like for Daniel Jones, I kind of look at it through the same lens. I look at it through the same lens of like, he's done good against like bad competition. And that's what you want your players to do is to do that. Am I still playing Jonathan Taylor today? Absolutely still playing him in DFS. Absolutely playing him in season long. Obviously it's a no brainer. He's number 2 back on the season. But yeah, like I just think this is definitely a spot where I would hope that Justin Herbert would be able to take advantage of things today. I just can't see a world in my mind like where the Chargers don't pull this game out, I guess is really what I'm saying. And if the Chargers don't win, it's probably because Jonathan Taylor had 255 yards and 4 touchdowns today would really be what I would say. Michael Pittman, 1,000%. Michael Pittman, can't wait for the replay of that today. Can't wait for it. I think this is a good spot for Michael Pittman, right? I think it's a good pace up spot. I think obviously Vegas agrees this is like a really good game environment. This is always a spot where like I'm gonna make my statement here. 2 really good teams or 2 perceived really good teams. This could be a place where like it doesn't show out like that. It could be a place where it ends up being 24-20, right? Something like that right there, because you think both of these teams, like I think at the crux of things, Harbaugh still wants to run the ball, like at the crux of things, and him and Greg Roman, but like they've been letting Justin Herbert do his thing. So the Colts have been very good offensively. I'm just going to take the Chargers and call it good in that space. Keenan Allen didn't play big time today. I think like he's kind of slowed down a little bit as well. Indy's 31st in receptions per game allowed to opposing wide receivers, kind of like you talked about. So this is a really good spot for any of those guys. Quentin Johnston's coming back this week, so should be fun for Justin Herbert. Ownership perspective, again, Vegas has got a lot of players in this game here. JT 20%, Kamani Vidal 20%. I'm still not quite sure, kind of to the point you were making, if I want to jump back in that pool with him for DFS season long. You probably have to play him if you're in that spot. McConkey 13%, Herbert 12, Tyler Warren 10, Keenan Allen 10, Quentin Johnston 10. Just a lot of pieces here. So it looks like this is the game that people are getting to in Vegas. So have fun with that game. I'll be there, but that's not my biggest game. So what you got, Jamie?
I like this game, actually. I love this game. Tell me one thing. How's the Colts defensive line looking?
Like just from like what perspective? Like
from a health perspective. Do they have their dudes?
From a health perspective, looks like DeForest Buckner right now is still unspecified. Sampson, Ibaka, same thing. So we're still Grover Stewart, same thing. So like we don't have anything yet on them, so it's like unspecified. But like injury report should have already dropped, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, but
I think that's a big
game. 4 o'clock game. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a big key to this game. Obviously, the Chargers offensive line struggling to protect our guy Justin Herbert. You're just hoping for an air show here, man. I mean, frick. Well, all the receivers, you got QJ back now. Got Lad McConkey, got Michael Pittman, who's an absolute baller who nobody likes. Tyler Warren. I mean, hopefully this is an absolute air show, but depending on what that protection looks like, the Colts defense is not crazy, but they're pretty solid too. And they've got some dudes, they've got some talented dudes. So it could be a closer game than you want it to be. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor is the man. I just hope it just doesn't get into the trenches where it's just all run. Let's open it up, guys, and let's see. I mean, I don't know who's going to win this game. I don't even want to pick. I guess I'll take the Colts, I guess. But play all of your wide receivers and your Tyler Warrens in this game, and hope that the ground games just don't take over. That's all I got on that.
All right. Well, Vidal helped me cash last week. This week, JT and Judkins, DFS running backs.
I like it.
All right. Yeah, I look, that's Judkins definitely the chalk today, and that is a good chalk, in my opinion. So that makes sense. And then Taylor, like you said, 8,800 is like a pivot off of like the overall concept of, again, of other people are going to be, spending up in other places. Spend up on Taylor, 8,800 spot where, again, for DraftKings, it's like a great spot for sure. That being said, to the other 4 o'clock game, it's kind of a crap show. The Giants getting 7 points on the road, going into Denver, the over under 39.5, unless that's changed. But I do think that from a X's and O's perspective, when it comes to both of these teams, it could be a long day for Jackson Dart. If Justin Fields was sacked 9 times, and don't get me wrong, I think Jackson Dart is a phenomenal talent. I just think they're going into Denver. So 7.5 now, not 7. So I'm guessing some short money's coming in on Denver. And that being said, the overall perspective on Jackson Dart is they're coming off a high against the Eagles, right? Where they again put it all together, 34 points, which was crazy. But now you're getting a defense in Denver who's literally they're ready to eat. they're still hungry in terms of getting after things. So the worry obviously for Denver side of things is that they've been kind of just a little bit lackadaisical. Like Bo Nix hasn't really looked like Bo Nix from last year. He's just kind of been a little bit more of a shell of himself. So that's something like where can Denver consistently put on the gas pedal and just like obliterate them today, or are they going to allow them to kind of hang around? This kind of reminds me of the Colts are a better team, but in that game, it was like, they kind of dumbed down to the competition. So it's something where I worry about that just slightly for Denver. But for the Giants' perspective, Giants defense is third most when it comes to most receiving yards for 20 yards or more on passes. They play second most man coverage in the NFL. So when it comes to the Bronco receivers, we're talking about Courtland Sutton, your guy Courtland Sutton, John.
Why are you being so boring with me today? I don't like it.
That being said, look, Sutton on yards per route run against man coverage, his rate goes up to 55%. So again, Giants playing second most man coverage. Sutton is definitely a guy to watch out for. However, would I be shocked to see Troy Franklin get something deep? Would I be shocked to see if Marvin Mims got something deep? No, because this is the spot where this can totally happen. I know the Giants front seven is definitely, a decent, but again, the secondary is definitely the spot to take advantage of. But I do like Denver. Give me the 7. Give me the 7 up to 7.5. But I do say that Denver, if they don't, they don't come out and be like, we're gonna put this team into the ground. They have no business being in competition with us. Like, if they don't come from that perspective, if I don't see them win by like at least like 10 points or more today, it's gonna be something where I'm like, with Denver, like they're a great nucleus of a team, but I'm gonna question like their dog in them. I'm gonna question like, hey, like is this team really on the cusp of trying to challenge the Chiefs for even the division crown, let alone the conference title? So that's something where you just gotta kind of see if this is like the game, because these are the moments where it's like you got to come out and beat the team you're supposed to be beating. You got to go do that. So, but in terms of the over under, give me the over, because I do think the Giants can find a backdoor way into getting some points here, whether it be by lucky touchdown, whatever, Jackson, escape for Jackson Dart out the pocket. But I do think that this could be a long, very long day for the Giants' offensive weapons. Johnny, take it away.
Yep. I totally agree with you. I think this is just a space. I know. Like, man, come on. Let's disagree about something, man. I totally agree with you, man. Like Courtland Sutton, like again, man, like he's not being played a lot on DraftKings, man. I'm trying to find him. I'm not even trying to be funny, but like he's not being played a lot at all in any space, either DraftKings or FanDuel. 5% on FanDuel. So, yep. Yeah. And, like if I had any worry, you already kind of hit on a couple of the worries, is like we don't know like which way the ball is going. But the other worry I would have is like, is it even possible that they might not even need him today? Like in that space. And when I say not need him, like I don't mean like he throws up like a goose egg, but like, it's not like intentional, like to make that happen. I think we all know Sean Payton's game. Like that's what it is. He wouldn't let people not play him. Right? Man. But like a couple of like just interesting call outs, like just from like the tight end spot, that's really, it is what it is, right? So I know you'll love this, man. But like Theo Johnson, 8th highest rated tight end as far as targets go whenever teams blitz. Probably a pretty good spot for him. Evan Ingram in a revenge game.
Revenge narrative. Yep.
Yeah, revenge narrative. So, a little drama here. Doing really good against man, and the Giants run the highest rate of that in the NFL. So, like, I think just a couple of spots that, right, like if you're DFSing it today, those are a couple places that like you don't have to hesitate or feel awkward about getting the tight end. Just gave you a low ownership play and a big time player in Courtland Sutton. Cam Scatterbo, I think I seen something. He's responsible for like 25% of the Giants scrimmage yards so far since the season started. Yeah, man, it's going to get scary for him in Jackson Dart today. So they're a 2-4 team. So I kind of like, to your point, Nick, I'm not really like concerned about Jacksonville, the Giants potentially hitting a backdoor cover because I think the Broncos are approaching this team as like, hey man, like this team just beat the world champs, so like, hey, like if we don't play, like they could get us too. So like I actually feel a little bit more comfortable about the Broncos and the points in that space, man.
Yeah, I like that mentality too. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, just beat the world champs. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that it's like, if you don't show up for this game, you probably get a 2. Yeah, every given Sunday, you know. Jamie, what you got to say about this game before we move on?
I think this game's going to be pretty boring, but there are some interesting pieces to it. It will be interesting to see if Cam Scatterbo, what he really is. I mean, you saw him against the Chargers. Defense looked pretty dang good. They just completely shut him down. Like he had no room to move. And then last week he kind of goes off on the Eagles. So it'll be interesting to see that. I'm not even sure if Bo Nix is even good. I think that's a legitimate question. It's possible that he may not be. And if we want to use dumbing down the offense, if we want to use that term, they're doing that for him now. But this is going to be ugly, man. The Broncos, even the Giants front could be all over the Broncos today. I don't know.
That's possible.
This is a kind of like a Broncos Jets type game. Yeah, if you ask me.
Yeah. All right. Makes sense. It would make a ton of sense. Last 2 games. Packers getting 7 on the road as the road favorite going to Arizona, over under 44.5. The news is pretty much that Kyler's is pretty much going to be ruled out if he hasn't been already. There's kind of like trending, at least that line, in terms of that and how it goes. Haywood's dropping a little bit of a prop bet, 2 catches for Scatterbo, 25 yards rushing for Dart, and then 40 yards or more for Sutton. The only thing I don't like about that is Jackson Dart. I mean, obviously you can have that nice little breakaway, but it's something where like, I don't know. When you contain Justin Fields like that, and when they rushing quarterbacks and stuff like that, that's something that I get very nervous about, and Denver has done it all season. So it's something where Jackson, if they're going to have any chance to beat Denver today, like they're going to have to do it with Jackson Dart's arm and not consistently with his legs. But obviously I can understand why you would put all these 3 together. From a perspective of, we just getting a nice couple runs from Dart. We had a few dunk downs from Scatterbo, and the Giants are keeping, staying in the game long enough for Sutton to easily hit over 40 yards receiving. So, and then talking about Brissett's going to throw for over 300 yards. Again, speaking of this game, Packers, we got to watch out for Josh Jacobs news, because there was, the sickness, and then / like he had this calf injury now, which was something new that popped up on Thursday. So something where they may, in a sense, come off the overall from the previous week and stuff like that. Like they could just take it slow with Josh Jacobs. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be ruled out, but it's one of those things where I don't see it all the time, but it's something where even if Josh Jacobs is active today, there still could be room for Emmanuel Wilson if going a little bit out there. Not to say Green Bay is not going to, they may not even need Jacobs today. They may not. So that's something where it's totally possible. But what I'll say in terms of how both of these teams go, Cardinals, 4th most adjusted, 4th most schedule adjusted against allowing to the slot receivers. So this spells for me, and it's part of the core 4 as well. But give me Matthew Golden over 46.5 receiving yards. The breakout somewhat happened last week, and it could have been bigger. And I do think that Matthew Golden is someone that they're going to want to get the ball to. We love seeing rookies. We love seeing after the bye rookies getting themselves more usage in offense and just more play and wherewithal. We saw similarly to Luther Burden. So it's like we like seeing these type of situations. So yeah, I think this line's too low. I think we're going to get the books right where it hurts on this one with 46.5 receiving yards. It's just more about, can Brissett keep this thing going for the Cardinals? If and when he's officially announced as a starter today. I do think Murray's more on the doubter full side of questionable. This versus more like the probable side of questionable today. When it comes to this game, I respect the Packers in this one. But if Brissett is quarterbacking, I think the 7 might be a bit too high. But I'm gonna say Green Bay because Jordan Love's awesome. So I do like the weapons for Green Bay in terms of how if they get themselves a little bit of a schneid, and then if Jacobs is ruled out, it's more on Jordan Love's shoulders. And that's where the Packers can get themselves into situations where you'll have Golden, you'll have Dobbs, you'll have Tucker Kraft, even without Josh Jacobs today. So I still think the weaponry is still enough to allow themselves to cover the 7. And again, the Cardinals play a lot of too high. They play that 60% clip, and that's 50, and that's the 5th highest in the NFL. So that's where, again, I think Golden, I think Tucker Kraft can easily have their way with this type of team today, and that's just kind of how I see fit when it comes to that. Jacobs, we're waiting on that. We're still waiting on that news. Remember, he plays at the 4:00 game, so that's something where we just got to keep our eyes peeled on. And then, talking about Haywood again, talking about has, Cardinals and Packers had some pretty epic games. Yep. Very aware of that, Super Bowl many years ago, right? And then, like the Golden play, I do as well. And then, John, what you got to say about this game? I like the over-under 44.5. I do think Brissett has proven, at least from last week, that he's able to at least command the offense and at least give it a respectable name. But again, I think this Green Bay defense, man, is definitely vaunted. So what you got to say, John?
It's the Packers for me in this game. There's not even anything to hesitate about for sure. I think like last week was just a perfect storm with Jacoby Brissett for going against the Colts. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think if Jacoby Brissett was this good, he'd be a starting quarterback in the NFL. So I think and I'm not even trying to be funny, but just he's gonna have his moments for sure. But I just think last week was just one of those moments where it's it was the perfect storm. Hey, you're going into Indy, you're playing against your former team. Just a lot of things there in that space. I think for the Packers, you got to wait on Josh Jacobs to see what's going on. I do agree with you with Tucker Kraft and Matthew Golden. I do like those guys. I'm playing a lot of them today. Don't have quite a lot of Jordan Love, but I'm playing him a little bit. He's not one of my higher owned players, but definitely there's a world where that happens. And I think the main reason why I'm not playing him is just what I stated previously. It was just because I don't feel like the Cardinals would be able to keep this game close. So maybe it might be one of those things where, you look up and Jordan Love's got 220 yards and 2 touchdowns, something like that right there where it's not really needed. Trey McBride is obviously in play today for sure. He's pretty much all they got at this point. So I think, again, man, the Packers are not very good going against the tight end so far. So McBride is second in the league in receiving yards. Green Bay is allowed the 25th most yards per game to opposing tight ends. So Trey McBride is definitely 100% in play. I just think this is a game that's not going to be a lot of fun. I think it's a game that you can make a profit off of, whether it's Dobbs, Golden, Tucker Kraft from a prop perspective. I think that, but this is more of a filler game for me. So I took the Packers today in my survivor.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jamie, what you got to add?
I actually like Brissett. I like Brissett a lot. I think as far as a backup, he's as good as you can get. I don't know if you guys remember in Cleveland, he balled out when your boy went down. And then he went to, I believe, Washington. Did not get a chance to play last year. New England was in a crappy situation. But I think Brissett is a baller, bro, and I think he's an upgrade from Kyler Murray. So I'm excited for McBride. I'm excited for McBride. They have absolutely nothing in the backfield, so the Cardinals are not a scary offense. But they're a lot more fun with a decent quarterback. And I got to give it to the Packers, even if they don't have Josh Jacobs. But man, that could be fun. Hopefully we can see Jordan Love air it out, bro, because he is capable. He is highly capable.
Yes.
And they have not been doing that. So man, maybe if Jacobs doesn't show up, maybe we get to see that Jordan Love. That would be fun. But yeah, I'll take the Packers, and who knows which receiver. Like, just blindfold yourself and push a button.
Oh shit, I love it. Push your button. Push your button. Push your button.
What are you going to do it? That's why I let you have it. I was like, I'll let John have it. I can't take it all away. But okay, it makes sense. Last game we go, which is like probably the uber chalk of these slates for today, DFS lines and whatnot, and anything hopefully offensive today. Commanders getting 1.5 on the road going to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. That being said, over under 54.5. Again, way to basically, highest over under completely on the slate by like 7 points at this point. And I'm sure if everybody's getting to this spot, it's obviously for good reason. Again, no Debo in this matchup, which sucks, by the way. And I think when it comes to this matchup, it's really more about like, can the Washington side of things without Debo, without McLaurin, can they overall make things happen in terms of this offense with Jayden Daniels? And I'm not saying that I am betting against that. It's more about like, okay, like you don't have Debo, there's no McLaurin. It's like you're going with your secondary pieces today with Luke McCaffrey and Chris Moore, who overall is someone that, I think he's 32 years old, but finally getting his opportunity here, I guess, and we'll see how it goes. He was pretty decent last week. He got like 5 targets, 3 catches, and 46 yards with a touchdown last week. Here's a cool stat: single game NCAA record for yards per reception. Overall is Chris Moore. Crazy. What I'll also say is that when it comes to this Washington offense, it's Jayden Daniels. So I think Zach Ertz is going to be in for a hell of a day today, because the Cowboys are this pass defense. Like when your cornerback gets into a car accident around his area and gets a concussion that way. Good Lord, are you cursed? Because man, like that was terrible to hear about that type of news. But that being said, look, yes, yeah, that's right. They are the Cowgirls. Haywood, they are the Cowgirls. But if you didn't know, now you know. But in terms of this matchup, like Dallas obviously getting CeeDee Lamb back to the table. And CeeDee Lamb, I do think there shouldn't be too much of like he should be all systems go. Dak, we talked about before, on a absolute heater. In terms of just like how Dak just keeps it going. So I'll say, like, I think if we're gonna get different in this spot, it's you're gonna overall have Dak or Daniels, right? And if you want to get some exposure, like the run games might have to be it. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, I could consistently not want to call him Bill. Devontae Williams, obviously, those are kind of the pivots here. But I'll say, look, Chris Moore, 3K, that's pretty much your overall, like, all right, like, we should pretty much just staple them in, stuff like that, regardless how it goes on DraftKings. And then from there, it's like you kind of build out the rest of your lineup maybe around this spot. Like, Zach Ertz on DraftKings, 3,800 today. Like, that is, thank you. Thank you for the gift. Because he should eat today. And that being said, look, I think when it comes down to it, does Lamb take away heat from Jake Ferguson? Yes and no. I do think that the pecking order drops a little bit because obviously it was Pickens and Ferguson, and now Lamb back in the fold. Like from a first read perspective, it still should be Lamb and then Pickens and then Ferguson. However, I still think that Ferguson is still a vital piece of this offense outside of Lamb and Pickens. So that's where again, like and obviously you got to get Javonte Williams more involved, but it's something where I don't think this is like the Cincinnati situation that we talked about in terms of how like pecking order goes. We know where the ball will go. Will Ferguson's ceiling get limited just like with Pickens? Yes and no. But it's something where would I be shocked if Ferguson caught a touchdown pass, you know what I'm saying, today with like 60 yards and still being something that's worthwhile for your season-long leagues? No. So, long-winded way of saying that the Dallas offense is the Dallas offense. As far as the game, as far as the over-under, give me the under here. I do think that I'm not going to say it's going to disappoint, but it's something where I know the Dallas defense is crap. You know, when it comes to, especially when it comes to, they are the softest running back schedule adjusted when it comes to the matchup, and they allow the second highest success rate in yards per carry to opposing man gaps. So what does that tell us? It means that Krosky Bear could have a decent game here in terms of running the football. It's just going to be up to Daniels to consistently get his fast passing, his overall passing weapons involved. So I hate to say this, but give me the Cowgirls. Ugh, I hate saying that, but give me the Cowgirls here for basically the win here. And then, like I said, the under, because I do think that without Debo, without McLaurin, it kind of takes away some firepower away from this offense. And I could be wrong. I love Daniels, but it's the 54.5. Like, I understand why it's getting there for some people. I understand why people on the DFS side of things are getting there. This has a few avenues that could just definitely go wrong. So you are muted.
Yeah, I am. This game, oddly enough, I'm pretty sure the Cowboys have actually won 3 of the last 4 against the Commanders. So I can dig that for sure. I'm typically not a chalk guy. I almost go completely out of my way not to be chalky. And I literally had to tell myself so many times between last night and this morning, just do it. 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 Like, I hate chalk so bad. But this, there's I don't want to say there's no way, but Jaden Daniels is absolutely the play. He's absolutely the play. The receivers are cheap. Zach Ertz is cheap. Bill is cheap for what he's got going on. Haywood, I did it, bro. I did it. And honestly, and this is how I know this. I'm gonna go on a quick tangent, but I know this is what's gonna happen. Dak Prescott today, the day that I play him, and I play him aggressively, is the day that he won't show up. That's what's gonna happen. I know it. I know it. And he showed up everywhere else all year long. 20 points, 28 points. I'm talking about FanDuel. The only place he didn't was against the Bears so far, and obviously earlier on in the year against Philly. But every other game, 20, 25, 28, 30. And this will be the game that it doesn't happen. But yeah, there's not really a lot more for me to say, man. I feel like you almost have to play pieces of this game. You have to play pieces of this game. The one thing that actually I was watching some film on just Jaden Daniels earlier in the week. And the one thing that is, I don't want to say it's concerning, but just that I noticed from the Monday night game is I'm not saying he's not mobile, because we all know that he is, but that explosiveness and that pop that we seen last year, not seeing it in that same light. And I would almost kind of preference it to the way, and I know this isn't a long-term thing, this is just right now, and it's probably because of injury. I'd almost preference it in the way that we talked about Tyreek Hill earlier on in the season, where it's he wasn't running by people, but the fear of him running by people created space for him to be able to do what he needed to do. And I think we're kind of in that space with Jaden Daniels. Now, again, this is the Dallas Cowboys defense who has given everybody career days. So yeah, man, I'm just grumpy and venting out loud that
I'm absolutely sick right now.
Yeah. Well,
Travis Hunter, 85 yards and a touchdown right now.
Oh,
finally.
All right.
Whatever.
Finally.
All right.
Whatever, yo.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sick. Whatever. It's whatever. It is what it is.
All right. But no, I'm playing a lot of this game, and I'm just
sitting right on my bench, yo.
Dealing with it. So yeah.
The only reason why I played him is because I have him in a defensive spot in one of my teams.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
That would make some sense, obviously.
Been sitting there all year.
Yep, I bet.
That's funny.
Anything to add, Jamie?
Yeah. I'll just talk. I mean, I'll keep it brief because I know we still got a few games to go, but I want to hit on the Jaden Daniels. Oh, this is okay. This is the last one. Okay, good.
Yep,
I did want to hit on the Jaden Daniels. I hear you, John, on he might not look quite as fast, but I would say, I mean, coming off the sprained knee, obviously you're not going to be at 100%, but it looked like enough speed to get away from the defenders. He ran for some first downs. He looked pretty darn good running the ball. The thing I was a little worried about going into last week was the week prior. It seemed like outside of Debo, you needed another receiving threat, and it worked out fine last year. In general, I think Jaden Daniels is absolutely balling in his sophomore season. He's had some tough matchups. And they haven't been, huge scoring days, but I think he's performed really well under pressure. I think if there is a book out on him, he's performing well against it. And that says a lot about a sophomore player in the NFL, especially at quarterback. Ask Bo Nix. It's tough that second year. Ask CJ Stroud. It's tough. So, I'm a little bit worried about not having Debo, not having McLaurin, not having somebody else is out. Brown. I like Noah Brown. Question: would you guys go with Caleb or Jaden Daniels this week?
That's easy.
Oh yeah, even for me, I'm a diehard Caleb Williams truther. And that's what I was saying. It's I'm not saying that it's bad for Jaden Daniels. I'm not saying that it sucks or anything. Just watching it, it just looks a little different for him. It looks a little different for him. And I think as fantasy man, and you're right. For sure, playing quarterback, it should. But I just think as fantasy managers, in our minds, we're always okay, that dual threat, the 80 yards and some more. But there's a part of this too, because he did carry for 10 times for 52 yards on Monday. I think now, he's just understanding that, he has to protect himself and he can't take those shots. And not to go backwards in our conversation, but that's the problem with Jackson Dart. And that's why, that's a problem with him. But I think right now, Jaden Daniels is understanding that. And it may have just been the way that the game was shaking on Monday night that it just wasn't this overwhelming rushing feeling from him. But I think in a game like this right here, if he's all the way healthy, we get that. But long story short, I'm taking Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams this week, 1,000%.
Agreed, 100%. I just did a video about that this week, and I said the exact same thing, that Jaden Daniels, even from last year coming into the league, Jaden Daniels fixed his running issues. He was taking hits at LSU that were going to get him killed in the NFL, and he came out the box. He improved on that. But now you got a situation in New York where you got Jackson Dart. He's a complete idiot. He's launching his head into defenders. He's taking unnecessary hits. And his coach, Brian Daboll, is in lust with this guy and is not capable of giving him good common sense coaching. So it can only get worse. The hits are coming. You don't have to take extra hits in the NFL, bro. The hits are coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
My man.
We don't paint our fingernails though. Oh boy, wow, interesting stuff. So look, we got to the game by game breakdowns. Now it's time to head into the Knicks prop shop. We are 43-27 season, 61% of the bets overall. So your average probably gets you maybe 52, 53, whatever. So riding on a decent high right now. Entering into, again, the weird season of buys and stuff like that and everything. So, and man, just trying to read them a little bit better as we go along. So looking to stay momentumly high. Obviously, if you didn't watch my X account, you can follow us, me and John over there, obviously. And Jamie, if you want to shout out your Instagram, where people can follow you at for Instagram. Jamie?
Yep. Just balling with Jay. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yep.
I'm not on mute. Can you hear me?
Nope, you're not.
Just balling with Jay. Okay, good. It's just Ballin, BALLNWJ on
All right.
Instagram.
Perfect. So people definitely follow out, check out the artwork, check out the amazing stuff that he's doing over there. Because he's phenomenal. When it comes to the graphics.
Thank you.
But Prop Shop 43 and 27 year. Let's get cooking. Core 4 bets for week 7 in the house. Like I was saying before, hit a plus 9,000 lotto mega ticket on Thursday Night Football. Talking about cash in the money. Yeah, man, like just couldn't be more proud about that one. Looking to hit another one sometime this season, so definitely just stay tuned to that. First things first, I talked about Rashee Rice, so over 6.5 receiving yards. Definitely want to get that done. Like I said, cover 3 for the Raiders. They still, I play one of the highest in the league. So look, I do think this is a game where Rashee Rice should get peppered with targets and volume, and this should be a spot that he should smash. Matthew Golden, talked about him earlier as well, 46.5 more receiving yards. Especially if Josh Jacobs ends up being out, this could be a spot where he overall is in a place where he can overall succeed, especially for all the usage that we just saw with him earlier. Michael Mayer. Now I can't find his line for whatever reason on DraftKings or FanDuel for whatever reason. So I see it on Drafters. It was 36.5. Now it's changed, I think, to 42, but I'll still take it. Michael Mayer, 7 targets last week, 5 catches on those and 70 yards with a touchdown. And now, again, no Jacoby Myers now. He's ruled out. There's no Brock Bowers. He's ruled out. So where else are we going to go with the football outside of Trey Tucker? So that's where, if you could find his line, I'm not sure if Haywood's going to tell us what, he's got, if he sees that differently or whatever, because I know he's probably looking maybe as well. But I was like, yeah, like once I see his line, I'm still trying to see where his line is. And yeah, on DraftKings, they have his line. So they have him for minus 177 for 5 receptions is nasty work right now, DraftKings. That's nasty work, but I can understand it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the yardage, obviously. So the line, as I'm editing, doing it live, baby, doing it live. The line for DraftKings was plus minus 135 for the reception yards. So yeah, I'll take that for Michael Mayer. Like I said, he did that already this past year, past game, where he had 70 yards receiving. So that's a spot where I definitely like in terms of where I like for Michael Mayer in a game where again no Jacoby Myers and no Brock Bowers clearly. So like those in terms of that. And then the last one I do like is Josh Dobbins for the core 4. Dobbins overall this is a spot where if we're talking about how bad this Giants defense is, we can't go without saying that we don't like J.K. Dobbins in the spot. J.K. overall has just been crushing when it comes to man gap schemes that the Giants run. And this is just a spot I just love for 65.5 rushing yards. Again, this Denver offense hasn't been anything crazy or sexy or spectacular. So if they do end up following suit with that, Dobbins should easily hit this line. Dobbins has cashed for us a couple of times already this season, so I'm going right back to that wagon. And yeah, we have Haywood. Yep. Haywood's definitely sneaky. Catch the line, bro, because I think they're probably going to be adjusting it constantly before kickoff. So I would definitely get that in. Again, that's a core 4 bet. The other bets we have is, you can play them how you want to play them. But I'll be playing all these is Harold Fanning over 4.5 catches. We talked about the weather already. This should be a game where both quarterbacks should just be, feeding the middle and feeding the intermediate stuff without going too deep with the football because of all the wind gusts and all the weather concerns today. So give me 4.5 catches for Harold Fanning. Spencer Rattler, I do like this line still. I would just temper my expectations a little bit with it because of all now, again, same thing as Chicago. They're starting to see a little bit more. I'm starting to see an over-under line go down and down. I've seen it drop like at least 3 points before we started this broadcast. So just be careful. But I would say Rattler, they had to keep throwing the football in terms of that. And he's unofficial, but I obviously like Chris Olave here as well. So you could definitely double up on those guys too. Saquon Barkley. It is the game, yo. Over 4.5 rushing yards. Talked about it earlier. Vikings 24th against the run this season. And look, man, this is time. You know, if there's any other game like we talked about earlier, this is the spot for Saquon Barkley. Today is that day. Off 2 losses in a row, again, where Eagles really had no business losing those games in a way. More like the Giants, obviously, they should have lost because they just didn't show up. But I like Barkley here in this spot. Give me him easily. Dickerson's back for them today and more full strength, so that's going to help their interior. So, yeah, look, give me Saquon Barkley over 74.5 rushing yards. If you want to sprinkle or take something a little bit different, I do think that checking down to Barkley is something that should be doing as well. I just think based on the quotage and stuff like that that's going on, it's like a squeaky wheel spot for Barkley. And I think this is the right line for this type of situation. DeAndre Swift over 54.5 rush yards. Look, when it comes down to it, I see Swift starting to get his mojo back a bit. So this is the spot. I like the rush and receiving yard line. I believe that was like 75 or 80, something like that. But give me the 54.5 rush yards. Due to the weather again, I do like how they could incorporate him in terms of the run game. Last but not least, Justin Herbert over 256.5 passing yards. Talked about it earlier. Colts secondary, trash. They just put Davis Ward on the IR. So who's going to be playing corner? Who's going to be playing the safety positions? And I do think in a game that's over under 48.5, Herbert should be hitting this line. I did this with Herbert a couple weeks ago. He burned me, but I'm going back to it because this is a spot where he shouldn't let us down for sure. So there you have it. That is the prop shot for week 7. Come back later this evening, Sunday.
Another touchdown.
No, really?
Yep.
Oh, yo. The triple dog Devontae Adams, yo. Wow. But tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, me and John, we back. Maybe Jamie if he wants to join us, whatever. We back here breaking down the Sunday Night Football matchup between the Niners and the Falcons and giving you guys the recap on what has transpired so far upcoming and trying to get you guys ready for the Sunday Night Football matchup as well. And then appreciate you, Haywood, as always, bro. Really appreciate that. Julius Pepperwood, Swiss nickname with the Elite Mafia.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, man, I wouldn't mind Swift going off, but he's one of my list darlings. So that being said, I'm going to ask Johnny and Jamie, any final thoughts before we let the people go?
Devontae Adams, you used to be kind of cool, man. I don't really like you that much anymore, but used to be kind of cool. I used to like you a lot.
Hey, yo.
But,
easy. How you 5 catches, 35 yards, and 3 touchdowns, though? What a crap game, yo. What a crap game. And I'm saying Adams. I'm just saying, like, Stafford, 182 passing yards, and Kyron Williams, 12 carries, 54 yards. Like, what? It's like this Jacksonville defense trash today. Oh, Lord.
Hopefully this is not a sign of things to come. Hopefully for the day. Good luck to everybody out there. Unless you're going against me, then second place is good enough and you can do good, just not better than me.
Jamie, what you got for any final thoughts?
Man, I just want to say thank you guys for having me on. Let me do my ranting and all that good stuff. I appreciate it. It was so much fun. I wish I could come on tonight, but I'm probably going to be working. But I will be back if you guys let me. This was awesome, man.
Yep.
Anytime, bro.
No, bro.
Hey, yo. He always does. Shoot. Always does. It always is. I'm not sure if he's preaching, though, but
something.
Oh, my goodness. Again, we'll see you guys 7:30 p.m. Eastern tonight, where we give you guys our recap and breakdowns. For all of us here at the Fantasy Football Show, we'll see you guys at 7:30 tonight. Peace!